I accidentally saw my boyfriend kissing a junior, and my heart shattered into pieces. Just then, someone approached me. Your boyfriend has a new girlfriend. Do you want to come with me? I turned to look. It was my boyfriend's aloof roommate. My boyfriend, Isidore Thoreau, had said he would introduce me to his roommates over dinner. I agreed. However, just as we were about to arrive, it started pouring rain. I awkwardly hid a short distance away from the restaurant. I tried calling Isidore Thoreau to ask him to come get me, but no one answered, just busy signals. What was he doing? No matter how enclosed the restaurant was, there must be windows that could see the rain outside. Right. I bit my lip, preparing to make a couple more calls. At that moment, a tall figure appeared in the drizzle. It was a guy holding a large umbrella, walking towards me. The umbrella obscured his face, making it hard for me to see him clearly, but that white jacket he was wearing looked very familiar. It was the same jacket my boyfriend had worn on our last date, bragging about how expensive it was, which I still remembered vividly. All my gloom vanished in an instant, and I quickly rushed into his umbrella, hugging him tightly. I nestled against his collar and softly said, Isidore Thoreau, I knew you'd come to get me. I forgive you, he replied. My boyfriend seemed to stiffen for a moment, as if he wasn't used to my intimacy. Just as I was puzzled, a strange, cold voice came from above me. Sorry, you've got the wrong person. I'm his roommate, Primo Fast. I was stunned for a couple of seconds and quickly pulled away. Now, Primo Fast's handsome face, with his defined features, was right in front of me in the damp air. His eyes were dark and bright. I recognized him from afar. He was Isidore Thoreau's roommate and was famously known as the aloof campus heartthrob. Rumor had it that his family could write checks like they were nothing. Such a distinguished person rarely stayed in the dorm. He had directly bought an apartment off campus to live alone. Isidore Thoreau had mentioned him a few times, always with admiration and a hint of jealousy. At the time, I thought it was normal. After all, who wouldn't feel a bit envious of someone with that kind of wealth? So now, since I had just behaved so rashly, he must be really angry. Feeling embarrassed, I apologized. Sorry, I mistook you for my boyfriend, Isidore Thoreau. It's just that your clothes are identical. He wore this the last time we met. What a coincidence. Primo Fast raised an eyebrow at my words. Really? But this one is a custom piece. There's only one in the world. I usually keep it in the dorm and rarely wear it. I don't recall Isidore Thoreau having the same one. I was at a loss. Only one. Then where did Isidore Thoreau get his? Didn't he say he saved up to buy it? Could it be? My mind was a jumble for a moment. Still, I decided to change the subject vaguely. Sorry, I must have remembered wrong. By the way, I accidentally smudged some lipstick on your collar. Should I grab a wet wipe to clean that off? Primo Fast glanced at the tiny lip print on the collar of his jacket, and then looked back at me, lifting his eyelids. His voice was light and casual. It's fine. It's not dirty. Since the victim said it was fine, I couldn't continue to draw attention to it. I could only stand there awkwardly. Primo Fast silently studied me for a few seconds. His deep, serious gaze made me feel a bit confused. After a moment, he tilted the umbrella towards me, breaking the awkward silence. Let's go inside. They've already started eating. Okay. I hurried to follow him, maintaining a polite distance of about a fist between us. The pleasant, crisp scent from him wafted into my nose, tickling me. After hesitating, I turned to him. Primo Fast. Yes. Why isn't Isidore Thoreau answering my calls? The boy replied lightly, with a hint of mockery in his tone. He's out drinking with a junior. When I opened the door to the private room, it was lively inside. There were both guys and girls, mostly people I didn't know. At that moment, my boyfriend, Isidore Thoreau, had a junior leaning on his shoulder. They both seemed a bit tipsy, their faces flushed. They were laughing and chatting, too close for comfort, almost about to kiss. I stood at the door, calmly calling out to him, Isidore Thoreau, what are you doing? Hearing my voice, Isidore Thoreau turned around, his pleasant smile still on his face. Hey babe, you're here. Come sit. I've been waiting for you. I told you to take a taxi. You keep taking the bus to save a few bucks. It worries me. As he spoke, the junior sat up straight and turned to look at me. The provocation in her gaze was almost too obvious. She sweetly called me, Senior. but I glanced at her without responding, directly walking to the empty seat beside Isidore Thoreau. On the way, I casually greeted his other roommates. Once seated, my boyfriend asked me, "Babe, how did you come in with Primo fast?" As he said this, he naturally reached out to hold my hand and wrap his arm around my waist. I instinctively pulled away. He looked surprised. "What's wrong, babe? You're not still mad at me, right? I already explained last time. Mia and I are just friends." I looked at him. "Speaking frankly, it's raining outside. I called you over 10 times. Why didn't you come to get me?" Isidore Thoreau looked puzzled. "You called me?" Then he realized something, turned, and laughed as he patted the junior's head. "I told you not to mess with my phone. It must have accidentally blocked her calls." "Silly." The junior playfully stuck out her tongue, admitting her mistake. "Sorry. No need to be so mean." "I'm not being mean. How could I bear to be mean to you? Isidore Thoreau is the best. Cheers to you, Tilda." While they were bantering back and forth, I lost interest in listening. Instead, I turned to look at Primo Fast, who was sitting across from me. He had put away his umbrella, and was slightly opening his jacket while drinking water. Despite saying nothing, he remained the center of attention in the room. Occasionally, someone would try to strike up a conversation with him, but he continued to appear cool and aloof, seeming unreachable. Perhaps my gaze was too obvious. He suddenly glanced over at me. His eyes were pitch black. I smiled back at him in gratitude, and he nodded. How could such a remarkable person come to my aid without being asked? The private room continued buzzing with excitement. I lowered my head to eat. Isidore Thoreau thought I was still upset that he hadn't come to get me? Maintaining a good attitude and apologizing, I didn't say much, feeling somewhat lost. Occasionally, I exchanged pleasantries with a few people, but overall the atmosphere was harmonious. The only disharmony seemed to come from Primo Fast, who couldn't stand the fawning attention and left the room quietly, presumably to do something else. Suddenly, the junior got up, saying she needed to go to the bathroom. She looked tipsy, swaying unsteadily. "Oh, my head feels so dizzy. I feel like I'm going to fall into the toilet. Can someone help me?" A strange guy at the table suddenly spoke lewdly. "Hey girl, I'll help you." "No way. I don't want you to help." When girls say no, they usually mean yes. The junior stepped back in fear, but the guy thought she was playing hard to get and laughed even more obnoxiously. At that moment, Isidore Thoreau, who was serving me food, suddenly slammed his chopsticks down and coldly sneered, "Mason, didn't you see she said no? Mia, come here, I'll go with you to the bathroom." With that, he stood up to protect the junior. I took a bite of my food, calmly trying to keep him from leaving. "Isidore Thoreau, I want to eat shrimp. Can you peel it for me?" My boyfriend paused, hesitating. "Babe, I'll peel it for you when I come back, but she's in a hurry to go to the bathroom." I looked at him deeply, disappointed, and nodded. "Okay." Isidore Thoreau wanted to explain something, but the junior began to act cute again. He had no choice but to hurry and assist her, the two of them getting quite close. "Isidore Thoreau, you're the best." "All right, little princess, off to the bathroom with you." They both laughed and left the private room, and I continued eating. 5 minutes later, they still hadn't returned. I pulled out a tissue to wipe my hands, and got up to head straight to the bathroom. The closer I got to the bathroom, the more I heard intimate murmurs. I didn't even have to push open the bathroom door. I could see my boyfriend wrapped around that junior by the sink, kissing passionately. Their faces were flushed with desire, making it hard to tell whether it was the alcohol or genuine feelings. It was clear that Isidore Thoreau's lips were smeared with the junior's lipstick, a bright red smudge. I stood there, feeling nauseous. I didn't know when this girl, Mia, started frequently intruding on my relationship with Isidore Thoreau, causing constant quarrels between us. Initially, Isidore Thoreau said she was a hometown acquaintance, a junior from high school, and naturally, he had to take extra care of her. I just didn't expect that this care had escalated to this point. Just as I was about to throw up, a hand gently covered my eyes, accompanied by a cold voice. "Your boyfriend seems to have a new girlfriend. Do you want to come with me?" I sat on a bench at the bus stop, wrapped in Primo Fast's white jacket. He was only wearing a short-sleeved shirt, quietly sitting beside me. I had also seen this shirt on Isidore Thoreau. It was quite absurd. The clothes he left in the dorm had become someone else's free wardrobe. He flaunted his designer items, attracting praise from everyone. He came from a relatively good background, and I thought he only bought a few luxury items occasionally. But now, Isidore Thoreau was becoming increasingly incomprehensible. He had pursued me with intense enthusiasm, bright and cheerful. While we were together, he took good care of me, always buying me snacks. I just didn't expect him to be so caring towards others too. There was no sense of boundaries, vanity, and his hands were dirty behind my back. I had initially held some hope for him, wanting to have a good talk during this gathering and possibly reconcile. But I didn't expect him to be so intimate with another girl after just a few drinks in the bathroom. It left me utterly exhausted. I sniffed, holding back tears. After breaking up with him via text, I blocked all his contact information, feeling heavy and stifled inside. Thankfully, I still had someone to keep me company temporarily. Primo Fast. Thank you. No problem, he replied, pulling his gaze from the end of the street and turning to ask me, Amy Carmen, taxis and rideshares are delayed due to the rain. How do you want to get back to the dorm? He knew my name. I was a bit surprised. I'm not going back to the dorm tonight. Having just broken up, I naturally needed to cry for a while. I might disturb my roommate's sleep with my sobs. I'll just get a hotel for the night. Primo Fast didn't say much in response. He stood up, opened his umbrella, and stood tall in front of me. All right, let's go. There's a hotel nearby. Thank you. I followed him, feeling incredibly grateful. Indeed, Primo Fast was a great guy. Although I had heard many things about him from others, my first impression of him was very positive. This was what a well-mannered, perfect guy looked like. No wonder the girls at school were so infatuated with him. As the wind blew, I unconsciously leaned closer to him, my skirt brushing against his leg. He subtly tilted the umbrella towards me, gripping the handle elegantly. The small mole on the back of his hand stood out beautifully. I paused for a moment. I felt like I had seen these hands somewhere before. When we reached a hotel, I awkwardly arranged my hair before going to the front desk to check in. Primo Fast stood not far behind me. Fortunately, the hotel still had a double room available. Though it was a bit pricey, it was better than nothing. Just as I received the room key, thunder rumbled outside, and the rain intensified, turning into a downpour. Clutching the room key, I slowly glanced at the boy holding the umbrella, waiting for me. He had gone through so much effort to bring me here, and now he would have to return to campus alone. No taxis were available, and the buses had stopped running. Walking back would surely make him ill. I couldn't help but call out to him, Primo Fast. He lifted his eyelids to look at me, his eyes dark. What's up? I hesitated. How about we share a room tonight? What do you mean? It's raining outside, and it wouldn't be convenient for you to go back to the dorm. Let's just share a room for the night. There's enough space for both of us. Primo Fast remained silent. After a slight gulp, he refused. No need. You're a girl. It's not appropriate. In that instant, my heart softened even more, and I quickly tried to persuade him. It really doesn't matter. We can manage just for one night. I would feel guilty if you had to go back in the rain. Primo Fast nodded finally. Okay. While Primo Fast was washing up in the bathroom, I lay on the bed looking at my phone. Isidore Thoreau was messaging me using another roommate's phone, sending me frantic messages. ***, break up. What happened, babe? ***, I drank too much today, and Mia just can't hold her liquor. I'm so sorry I didn't pay attention to you. ***, can you please take my Weshit and phone out of your blacklist? I'll apologize to you in person tomorrow. Okay. ***, I expressionlessly sent him a photo back. A picture of him passionately kissing a female junior in the bathroom. High definition. Of course, at that moment, I wasn't foolish enough to just stare at it. I quickly grabbed my phone to save the evidence. A few seconds later, Isidore Thoreau frantically called me. When I didn't answer, he sent more messages explaining. ***, babe, it's not what you think. ***, I can explain. ***, I was just really drunk, and Mia was drunk too. We were just close, and said a few words. ***, don't misunderstand. If you answer the phone, I'll have Mia explain to you. Okay. ***, I silently scoffed. I sent him the video of the two of them kissing, which was quite steamy. This time, Isidore Thoreau fell silent for a few minutes. Then he continued stubbornly, ***, babe, I really drank too much and couldn't control myself. ***, what man doesn't make mistakes when drunk? You can't be mad at me over something so trivial. ***, I was completely done with him. I turned off my phone and stared blankly at the TV. Tap. The bathroom light turned off, and Primo Fast sat on his bed. I tried to muster a polite smile, but he picked up the remote and pressed a button on the TV. *Amy Carmen, do you want to watch a movie together?" "Oh, sure. What do you want to watch? How about a comedy?" I was taken aback. Hey, this aloof godlike figure watches silly comedies. It felt a bit surreal. Sure, Primo Fast picked a classic silly comedy. At first, I was still mired in anger and disappointment over the breakup, but I quickly became engrossed in the humorous plot. I chuckled from time to time, and my mood improved significantly. Primo Fast, on the other hand, quietly sat beside me, watching, with a faint mole on the back of his hand holding the remote. I glanced at it a few times and felt a strange familiarity. Where had I seen it before? I racked my brain, trying to remember. Was it high school? After the movie, Primo Fast and I lay fully clothed on our beds to sleep. I couldn't tell if he had fallen asleep, but I slept quite soundly, unexpectedly dreaming about high school. I remembered that during my second year, I was forced to transfer to a new school due to my father's job relocation. The new school was a prestigious high school, divided into a regular department and an international department, connected by a small grove. I heard that the people in the international department were all exceptional students, and looked down on those in the regular department. My personality was slow to warm up, and after a semester, I still hadn't integrated into my class, nor would I seek attention in the international department. I would just go to the small grove next to the international department to feed the stray cats, whenever class ended. The stray cats were probably also being fed by an unknown classmate, who had taken good care of them, making them fat and friendly. We coexisted peacefully for a while, but one day, this unknown classmate suddenly left a note. ***, don't feed it too many fish. It threw up all over me yesterday. ***, I hurriedly left a note back. ***, sorry, can I feed it sausages instead? ***, the next day, I came to find a response. ***, do as you please. Okay. Thus, this back and forth note exchange unexpectedly lasted quite a while. Besides feeding the cats, we gradually started to discuss small matters related to our studies. Throughout, I had never met this cat friend, but through the sharp handwriting, I guessed he was a reserved boy who was good at studying, probably from the international department. In short, this mysterious cat feeder and I became inexplicably close friends. This secret little exchange became the only bright spot in my monotonous study life. I would share my study troubles with him, gossip about campus happenings, and we talked about each other's hobbies. But feeding the cats eventually gave me rhinitis. My mom ordered me to stop playing with the strays. I had no choice but to temporarily suspend communication with my cat friend. I didn't know if he ever saw my last sick leave note. The next day during PE class, I felt so uncomfortable due to my rhinitis that I stayed in the classroom to rest. Just as I was resting my head on the desk, I vaguely sensed someone entering our classroom. The footsteps walked straight towards my desk. Thinking it was classmates from the front or back sneaking back in, I groggily didn't pay it much attention and continued to sleep. But then suddenly, something was placed on my desk, accompanied by a unique and refreshing scent. When I woke up, I saw a bottle of rhinitis medicine, and a small note on my desk. The familiar handwriting belonged to that cat friend. Medicine. Remember to apply it. I lowered my head and smiled silently. Vaguely, I remembered in that hazy moment, I seemed to have seen a faint mole on the back of my cat friend's broad hand. Passing through the dream to reality, the pretty little mole on the back of Primo Fast's hand, holding the umbrella perfectly matched it. The next day when I woke up, I was still a bit dazed. Primo Fast held that windbreaker in his hand, and turned to look at me. "Amy Carmen, what's wrong?" I bit my lip and, after some hesitation, finally asked, "Primo Fast, did we attend the same high school?" You're the one who exchanged notes with me to feed the cats and the kind soul who gave me the rhinitis medicine. You recognized me long ago, which is why you helped me yesterday, right? He had picked me up uninvited, accompanying me in the rain to the hotel, and watched a comedy to cheer me up. Ultimately, it was because we shared a revolutionary friendship through feeding cats. Primo Fast looked a bit surprised at my words, as if he hadn't expected me to guess it, but he didn't deny it, calmly stating, "You're half right." "Oh, what did I get wrong?" I humbly asked for clarification. "It's not because I recognized you that I helped you." As he spoke, he lifted his eyelids and looked directly at me. His gaze was deep and heavy, with unabashed affection, undeniably evident. "It's because I like you that I helped you." Seeing me stunned, Primo Fast continued, "Amy Carmen, you've already broken up with Isidore Thoreau, so I can pursue you now. But if you want to go back to him, I won't say anything. The choice is yours." Primo Fast's words hit me like a heavy hammer, striking my head hard. I felt dazed, my ability to think reduced to almost zero, my brain shutting down. Dazed. After Primo Fast sent me back to the dorm, I was still lost in thought. My roommate saw me sitting there with a blank expression and asked with concern, "Ranbao, what's wrong? Did you have a fight with Isidore Thoreau? He suddenly went crazy last night, called me, and asked about you." "Sophia, do you know Primo Fast?" I interrupted my roommate unexpectedly, and she paused for a moment before immediately becoming excited. "Primo Fast? Of course I know. He's the campus heartthrob in our university town. There are fans who can photograph him from the boys' dorms in France. Unfortunately, he rarely stays on campus. So many beauties can only survive on his photos, but all their hearts are misplaced because it seems like Primo Fast has someone he likes. So he's been keeping himself clean." "Isidore Thoreau is in the same dorm as him?" "Ranbao, why don't you let Isidore Thoreau ask your crush who he likes?" I quietly said, "I broke up with Isidore Thoreau. I saw him kissing that female junior, so it's impossible to ask." "What? So it really was that jerk?" My roommate didn't bother with gossip and directly helped me angrily insult Isidore Thoreau. Amidst her righteous indignation, I slowly laid my head on the desk, burying my face. "Primo Fast, this extraordinary figure, likes me." After Primo Fast expressed his feelings, he didn't enthusiastically show up by my side. He hadn't even messaged me. If it weren't for him liking one of my posts on social media, I would have thought his confession that day was just my imagination. However, this sense of distance also relieved me. After all, just ending a bad relationship, seamlessly transitioning into another one would genuinely be hard for me. After I blacklisted Isidore Thoreau, he started frequently coming to my dorm building to look for me, waiting for me in the classroom, and using mutual friends' phones to message me. Some of his friends even came to persuade me. The gist was one sentence: "Forgive him. He just made the mistake every man makes." I couldn't help but laugh at their shamelessness. But avoiding him wasn't a solution either. He had begun to harass my roommate, affecting my normal study life. So, I decided to talk to him, and messaged him to meet in the small garden next to the playground. After sending it, I blacklisted him again. Isidore Thoreau showed up excitedly, and as soon as he saw me, he immediately started explaining, "Amy Carmen, I haven't seen you these past few days, and it feels like the sky is falling. Please forgive me, okay?" As he spoke, he reached to grab my hand. I pulled my hand away directly, and looked at him calmly. "Is that so? But how come I heard you've been frequently dating that female junior, these past few days?" Isidore Thoreau's expression changed slightly, but he quickly retorted, "Babe, she was comforting me." "Was kissing you at the party that night also comforting?" "No, I really was drunk that night, and in a moment of madness, I mistook that junior for you. Later, when I realized it, I pushed her away. She's no comparison to your softness. You don't know, she even had body odor, and playing with her gave me a headache." "But who made her dad a bit influential?" I looked at him, somewhat speechless. "Isidore Thoreau, I didn't expect you to be this much of a jerk." "Babe, I'm not a scumbag. I just like you. I'm working hard for our future." I raised my hand to stop him. "Isidore Thoreau, there's no need to say this. I called you out today just to tell you that we're breaking up. Don't bother me anymore, or I'll spread the video of your cheating all over the school." If you prepare for graduation and your reputation gets ruined during the public notice period, that's your own doing. Isidore Thoreau's earlier humble demeanor darkened, becoming somewhat frightening. He then forced a stiff smile. There's no need to make a big deal out of this, Amy Carmen. You know what to do, so please behave yourself. Let's end things amicably. I turned to leave. After a couple of steps, I seemed to remember something. I turned back and pointed to a tree not far away. Your junior probably heard a lot just now. You'd better go comfort her. If you're late, it might be too late. After saying this, I didn't look back. Soon after, I heard arguing behind me. Isidore Thoreau didn't come looking for me again. I don't know what methods he used, but he managed to win over the junior. In just a few days, they were showing off their relationship on social media. The junior even sarcastically hinted at me, saying I had no eye for talent and that I was clingy, ruining their relationship. When my friends angrily told me this, I just smiled and didn't care, because I had something more important on my mind. For example, Primo Fast had just asked me out to see a movie. After hesitating, I agreed. When I had no classes in the afternoon, I went to the cinema. From a distance, I saw Primo Fast standing there in a baseball cap, wearing a simple white t-shirt and black pants. Tall and long-legged, his demeanor was striking. At that moment, he was being approached by a beautiful girl asking for his contact information. I wisely didn't interrupt, instead sneaking glances at Primo Fast. I watched as he shook his head, directly rejecting all advances, admiring his smooth side profile until he suddenly turned, and our eyes met. His eyes under the cap were dark and deep. I awkwardly scratched my face and approached him. Sorry to keep you waiting. I just got here too. Then, let's go get the tickets. Primo Fast nodded, and walked in alongside me. The number of people turning to look at us was honestly absurdly high. It made me a bit nervous. Just as I was debating whether to create some distance between us, a hat was suddenly placed on my head. The wide brim blocked half of my face, shielding me from many gazes. Primo Fast, slightly ahead of me, spoke softly. Wear it. The cinema's air conditioning is too strong. I adjusted the hat and thanked him softly. Thanks. No problem. After he said that, he took a step forward. I hurriedly followed him, unable to resist stealing another glance at him. Once we got the tickets and took our seats, Primo Fast and I sat in silence. He was quiet, and I didn't know what to say to break the ice. Even without saying a word, I felt my ears warming under the brim of the hat. Wearing his hat gave me a strangely intimate feeling. I felt so awkward. This awkwardness peaked during the movie's sudden steamy scenes. Plus, when a couple in front of us started kissing passionately, I felt like I was sitting on needles, completely uncomfortable. It felt like the awkwardness of watching a kissing scene with elders. I cleared my throat and turned to Primo Fast. He seemed to have noticed the couple in front of us, his expression somewhat inscrutable. Primo Fast, HMM. He turned to look at me. I was grasping for conversation, trying to cover the awkwardness. What happened to that cat? Is it still wandering around? I took it home after my college entrance exam. I was shocked. Wait, you took the entrance exam? Aren't all of you in the international department preparing to study abroad, and not taking the entrance exam? I didn't go. Why not? I was curious. In the dimly lit theater, the only light came from the screen, casting a half-lit glow on Primo Fast's face. Because you said you were coming to a university. At that moment, the screen was showing a scene where the male lead sacrifices a bright future for the female lead. I felt like my brain was in a daze. I couldn't find the words to respond to him until the movie ended. Yes, I had told him. On a small note, I casually wrote that I wanted to study at a university. But Primo Fast remembered. To put it in modern slang, he really loves me. After the credits rolled, all the audience stood up and began to exit. I slowly walked toward the door. Suddenly, I heard Primo Fast call my name lightly, Amy Carmen, thinking he was going to continue talking about his unrequited love. My heart raced. What's up? Primo Fast turned his head to glance at me, his voice strangely enticing. Do you want to come to my place to see the cat? It misses you a lot and has even learned to do a backflip. I shamelessly agreed, mainly because I was genuinely curious about how it would perform a backflip. So, I followed Primo Fast to his off-campus apartment. The decor was just like his personality, cold and elegant. As I stood at the door without taking off my shoes, an orange cat strolled out of the bedroom. It first rubbed against Primo Fast's leg, before curiously tilting its head at me. I was overjoyed. Does it remember the ham I fed it last time, and plan to jump into my arms for some affection? But as I eagerly anticipated, the cat turned and walked away. Hey, wasn't it supposed to miss me? Weren't we supposed to see a backflip? Why was it being so indifferent? I looked at Primo Fast in confusion. He cleared his throat and smiled slightly. If you go in and hug it, it might remember you. That made sense. I took off my shoes, hugged the cat, and petted it vigorously, trying to evoke its fond memories with some ham. In the end, it almost scratched me, and Primo Fast had to put it in the bedroom for a timeout. I guess it's not good at remembering as it grows up. I chuckled. That's okay. Maybe the cat didn't miss me, but I'm sure Primo Fast did. After failing to connect with the cat, Primo Fast drove me back to school. At that time, it wasn't dark yet. He walked beside me to the girls' dormitory. We chatted casually, and the atmosphere was pleasant. After some hesitation, I finally asked him, Primo Fast, why didn't you come to get to know me in your freshman year? His face was expressionless. Just as I was about to get to know you, you started dating Isidore Thoreau. For a moment, I didn't know how to comfort him. It was true. Shortly after entering the school in freshman year, Isidore Thoreau began pursuing me. He looked good and was my ideal type, so we quickly got into a relationship that lasted until sophomore year. My impression of Primo Fast was merely that he was Isidore Thoreau's handsome yet aloof roommate. What was his mood like when he knew I was dating Isidore Thoreau? Isidore Thoreau was the type to flaunt his love, so he must have said some things about me in the dorm. How heartbroken was Primo Fast upon hearing that? Was that why he moved out soon after? I'm sorry, I instinctively apologized, but Primo Fast replied, Isidore Thoreau should be the one apologizing, not you. At this, his voice softened a bit. Go back now. Your roommate has been watching you from the window for a while. I was taken aback. I looked up and saw Sophia peering at me through the glass in a very odd position, her eyes shining brightly. I suddenly felt overwhelmed. Sure enough, when I returned to the dorm, I was met with an interrogation. The main inquiry was why I was getting involved with Primo Fast. I cautiously replied, because the person Primo Fast has always liked is me. My roommates erupted, screaming and demanding I share the secret to attracting a male god. How would I know why Primo Fast liked me? After dismissing them, I slowly went to take a shower. But before I showered, I sent Primo Fast a message. Do you have time tomorrow? Yes, I'm staying at school for the next few days. Can I treat you to a meal? Why? I replied, I just want to make it up to you. Make it up for those hidden, bittersweet feelings you have. But the next morning, my roommate suddenly let out a loud gasp. I was groggy, leaning over the head of my bed to look down. Sophia, what's wrong? My roommate rushed over with her phone, shocked. A guy said that Isidore Thoreau and Primo Fast got into a fight in the boys' dorm early this morning. It got pretty intense, and even the department head was called in. They said Primo Fast started it, and it's over for him. He's probably going to get a demerit. I was like, Isidore Thoreau and Primo Fast. My sleepiness vanished instantly. I instinctively realized that the reason they fought had to be me. I hurried out of the dorm and rushed to the department head's office. Just as I arrived, I saw Primo Fast and Isidore Thoreau walking out one after the other, both looking a bit injured. Primo Fast had a cold, expressionless demeanor. When he saw me, Isidore Thoreau looked somewhat smug. Amy Carmen, you're here. I knew you were worried about me. I ignored him and walked directly up to Primo Fast. Are you still in pain? Primo Fast raised an eyebrow in surprise. He looked down at me, his eyes dark. It's fine. It doesn't hurt. I didn't suffer. He truly hadn't suffered. He only had a bruise on his cheek, still looking handsome, while Isidore Thoreau looked like he had been pummeled. What were you and Primo Fast talking about? Isidore Thoreau called out to me, his tone sinister. I retorted, what's it to you? Why shouldn't it concern me? Isidore Thoreau's earlier feigned smile had completely vanished. He looked at me, standing very close to Primo Fast, gritting his teeth. I didn't know when you became so close to my roommate, going out to the movies together and then returning to his off-campus apartment before coming back to school. If someone saw and told me, I wouldn't have known you had hooked up with my roommate, Amy Carmen. You called me a scumbag. What about you? What's good about you? But I'm letting it go. Come here. We can still be friends. It seemed Isidore Thoreau knew about my date with Primo Fast. He was embarrassed and angry, leading to a conflict with Primo Fast, who had just dropped me off at the dorm. Honestly, I really wanted to slap him right now. He cheated first and was with his mistress, yet he could shamelessly talk about being friends. Just as I turned around, ready to slap him, my arm was grabbed. It was Primo Fast. The boy probably thought I would really go over. He stared at me intensely, but spoke softly. Don't go. I just want to clear things up with him, so he won't bother you. I smiled at Primo Fast, trying to reassure him. Primo Fast's gaze was deep and thoughtful. He didn't let go. Instead, he tightened his grip, his tone unusually pitiful. But my face hurts a lot. What should I do? I didn't have time to say anything else to Isidore Thoreau, and directly pulled Primo Fast to the infirmary. We bought some iodine and cotton swabs. After finding a chair, we both sat down. Not far outside the window, people were still exercising on the playground. In the disinfectant-smelling infirmary, I focused on applying medicine to his face, under the intensity of Primo Fast's unwavering gaze. At the same time, I worried. Primo Fast, will that fight incident go on your record? I didn't get in trouble. Heh. Didn't the principal get involved? It was Isidore Thoreau who provoked me first. I only acted in self-defense. Other classmates testified for me. The principal said they wouldn't pursue it. That's good. Just avoid him from now on. I'm afraid he might hurt you. I sighed with relief and wanted to ask what Isidore Thoreau had said to anger him. But suddenly, Primo Fast called my name. Amy Carmen. Yes. Do you know what it means that you just walked away with me? I know. I tightened my grip on the cotton swab, my face feeling slightly hot. It meant he was now more important to me than Isidore Thoreau. No, you don't know. Primo Fast took the dirty cotton swab from my hand, and our fingertips inevitably brushed against each other. This means that even if you choose Isidore Thoreau again in the future, I will do anything to take you away. I'll break you up, pursue you, and make you belong only to me. I won't let it happen again. He straightforwardly expressed his desire to be the other man. It was strong yet indifferent. An unspoken intensity radiated from him, making me flustered. But I didn't pull away. Instead, I slowly took out another cotton swab, dipped it in iodine, and continued applying the medicine. I said softly but firmly, I won't go back. I accepted that Primo Fast could pursue me. He didn't have any flashy methods, and he still didn't talk much. But he was always around me. And when he had free time, he would definitely take me out to eat. He maintained a polite social distance with other girls, but when he was with me, his gaze was always on me. This kind of favoritism made it hard not to feel my heart flutter. Every time I saw him, I felt happy and excited, like a girl in love. So one night, as he was walking me back to the girls' dorm, I took the initiative to tug at his hand and said, Primo Fast, let's date. At that moment, Primo Fast lowered his eyes, his gaze filled with my shy expression and my reddened ears. He swallowed hard and, after a moment, asked, Am I officially recognized now? Yes. Why? I wanted to say many reasons, but after a moment, I quietly asked, What about you? Why do you secretly like me? Primo Fast took my hand in his and bent down slightly. Well, it seems there's no reason. I thought he would say it was because of my kindness when I fed stray cats in high school, or that I looked pretty, or that my temper suited him, but unexpectedly, he said there was no reason at all. My heart melted. I leapt into his arms, just like that rainy night before, but this time it was real. Correct. Well, I also have no reason. I just want to date you, Primo Fast. I want to go to the off-campus apartment to see the cats. The girls' dorm will close soon. Primo Fast reminded me. I looked up and cautiously kissed his chin, feeling his arms tighten around my waist. I know. I just suddenly want to spend more time with my boyfriend. Is that okay? Primo Fast said yes, and he really did mean it. I had just settled onto his sofa, when I hadn't even started looking for the cat, and he kissed me fiercely. He kissed me hard and passionately. The usually cold and indifferent boy was now a bit greedy. as if he wanted to make up for the 3 years of missed kisses all at once. Just as I wrapped my arms around his neck, my phone suddenly rang. I glanced at it. It was an unknown number. I hung up directly and turned back to kiss Primo fast. But the phone rang again, with that unknown number calling persistently. Usually, harassment or scam calls wouldn't be so aggressive. It must be something important. So I pushed Primo fast away slightly. Wait, let me answer this call. Okay, I said, my voice soft and breathy, making me blush. I could tell it was a side effect of just being kissed. Primo fast raised an eyebrow. I'll answer it. All right, I nodded shyly while holding him. Primo fast picked up the call. Before he could say anything, I heard Isidore Thoreau's drunken voice through the receiver. Amy Carmen, baby, I miss you. Hick tilde. I broke up with Mia. She was too hard to handle. You're so understanding. Let's get back together. Okay, I love you. Before he could finish, Primo fast impatiently interrupted him, even swearing. Isidore Thoreau, don't you have your own nightlife? Get lost. After saying that, he hung up and lowered his head to kiss me again, mumbling, whose baby are you? I'm Primo fast's. I obediently raised my face, my mind completely free of anyone else. The room was filled with warmth. Isidore Thoreau was probably provoked by those 2 sentences from Primo fast, but he didn't dare to confront Primo fast. Instead, he started spreading rumors behind my back, claiming I was a gold digger and a heartbreaker who had hooked up with Primo fast. But this rumor was quickly debunked as soon as it reached my ears. Primo fast reported that a valuable watch he had left in the dorm was missing. The police quickly arrived to investigate and found several expensive clothes and watches in Isidore Thoreau's closet, all belonging to Primo fast. Isidore Thoreau immediately argued that Primo fast was slandering him, that he had intentionally placed his belongings in his closet. But many people came forward to testify that he had worn those designer brands. It was obvious that he had taken advantage of Primo fast's absence from the dorm to steal and claim them as his own, while spreading rumors outside. Because the value was significant, it caused a huge stir in the school. Even his extramarital affairs were brought to light, and his reputation plummeted. By the time I found out, Isidore Thoreau had already been called in for questioning, and the school quickly announced his expulsion. He panicked. He wanted Primo fast to write a letter of understanding and begged me to help plead for him. I wouldn't bother asking anything more. I enjoyed going to and from school beautifully, sticking to Primo fast all day. I let him use the excuse of the cat missing me to lure me to his house for dates. We lay on the sofa together, watching comedies, eating takeout, and unexpectedly discovered the little notes he had secretly saved up for a long time. So even though I had accidentally missed out on him for a long time, I still inevitably fell for him. Fate can be quite wonderful at times, so much so that someone can always guard me with unwavering love, endless devotion. The end.